All right, welcome to episode 10. Yes, we've hit double digits. And hopefully listeners, double digits as well. For the domination rankings of everything, the show that gives you a weekly top 25 of the most dominant things in the world, including absolutely everything together. And we do this with each of our co-hosts zealously and earnestly advocating for the entry into the top 25 of two things for which they have immense passion and knowledge. We have comedian Paul Nardizzi, who has been on Conan and Comedy Central, and today will display his passion for his two top 25 nominees, Caitlin Clark and Thumbs. How are you, Paul?
I'm doing good, Dave. Those credits you mentioned, I appreciate it. They used to be at the top of my resume, but they no longer are. The top credit is now that I am undefeated on this podcast. 4-0. And I'm not trying to be cocky here, but you might be able to take what I just said and use it at the end of the show if you want to edit it. But we will see.
All right. We also have Mike Hurley, a humor writer who will soon wax poetic with his immense knowledge of bachelor parties and first kisses. What's up, Mike?
How you doing, Dave? How's it going, guys? So in preparation for today, I have switched my diet to an all-egg diet. So, Dave, that's going to come into play later on. So you're going to see how that works out for me.
That will be wonderful, as you should. Then there's super duper intern Isabella Soto, whose initials I'm just realizing spell the word is.
Very perceptive, Dave.
Thanks. But wait, isn't is also short for Isabella?
Dave, you are on a roll.
All right, so in a sense, you are is, which means I think you could answer the question once posed by President Clinton. What is the meaning of is?
Oh boy. The meaning and purpose of is has to be, I think, to get the domination rankings up to triple digits.
There you go. Yes. What other meaning could one have? Oh, and then there's me, Dave Barron, Grand Poobah of College Basketball Times, which is where the domination rankings originated, but just for basketball. And we have expanded them just a bit to include everything, thus the domination rankings of everything together. So here's the plan.
Do we have a plan, Dave?
You know, I was trying to think of that quote from Mice and Men about the best laid plans for getting laid, which now seems inappropriate. Anyway, we'll start.
Best laid plans for getting laid? Is that what you just said?
No, it doesn't sound like Steinbeck.
No, I didn't say that. Anyway, we'll start with 3 rounds of debate as to which 3 new things should be added to the top 25. But that means 3 things have to come out of the top 25. So after the debates, Isabella, aka Is, will then reveal the latest top 25 according to our many voters. And it's the last 3 things on the voters' top 25 that will be cut. So Isabella, what do we have for round 1 of the debates?
We have Dave as the judge, with Paul arguing for thumbs and Diane arguing for bachelor parties.
Actually,
oh, yeah, thank you.
Diane was in the last show. That would be Mike.
Diane. Yeah.
That's all right. So I believe, Paul, you go first.
Okay, and it's the opposable thumb. Let's just make sure we're all on the same page here, okay? Where would we be without thumbs, okay? This podcast, for example, would be 3 unshaven Neanderthals sitting around an unlit fire in a cave surrounded by notes none of us could read, okay? Every time Isabella tried to signal 10 seconds with her hands, you'd think you had 8 left and you'd be rushed. The greatest feeling a person can have, okay, we all probably think it's that 3-letter word on the list. It's not. The greatest feeling a human being can have is to pick something up with your opposable thumb and hit another person with it. The first time I did it, I was 5 years old, and if I'm not mistaken, I climaxed. It was then I decided I was going to live a life of violence, and I've enjoyed every minute of it since. Okay, you try picking up an object without a thumb and hitting someone with it, you're going to hear 4 words. That all you got?
Well, I do agree. I do enjoy my opposable thumbs. But what I enjoy more, and if I look back in my past, is bachelor parties. And I just came from a wedding, and I was talking to my nephew, and all they could talk about was how great their bachelor party was. A bunch of bros getting together, spending a weekend with not a care in sight, and they're in a rented house. They're just out there, and I think they said a group of them over the weekend drank about 900 beers, and no one telling them what to do. This is your last chance before another kind of bliss sets in. Yes, wedded bliss, right, Dave? Wedded bliss for 50 years. That's almost the same fun as you have at a bachelor party, but it's over 50 years, right? So you get all that 50 years wrapped into one weekend with all your best friends. And at the great thing at the end, there's usually an awesome steak dinner and lots of fun to be had.
It's funny you mentioned drinking beers because I'm assuming they were holding those beers with their thumb when they were drinking them. Otherwise, most of that alcohol would have ended up on their shoes. Okay. The only thing bachelor parties dominate are the police locks. Okay. The thumb is way, way, way more dominant than what you just described.
Well, it could be, but you know what? I learned a little bit about opposable thumbs, and I found out there's some other animals that have opposable thumbs.
Yeah.
Lemurs, koalas, what is it, pandas? Clearly not dominant. Just because they have an opposable thumb doesn't mean much of anything in my book. You know what they can't do? They can't tie a Windsor knot or send a text message, or they can't even snap, you know? So they could have these thumbs, but they're not super meaningful.
Look, the only thing I can tell you about bachelor parties is when someone asks you to plan their bachelor party, you might as well just ask them to plan your divorce because it's the first seeds of deceit. Okay. It's like, I really like this girl, so I want to throw it all away on a $2 whore. All right. Well, Friday night, the Foxy Ladies open. What does that sound? Great.
Hey, you know what? There is a contract when you are getting married that you get to have the bachelor party. You get to do it, and your wife to be can't say anything. She has to say yes because you let her do all the wedding planning, pay for all the stuff, whatever the expenses are for the wedding, whatever she gets to tell you what to do for the next 50 years of your life. But you have that in your contract that you get one weekend to do whatever you want. It's a free pass. It's the free pass that you always want. And if she says no, you can just say wedding's off, right?
Again, impossible to go on one of those things without thumbs. Okay. You go to a strip club. What are you peeling the ones off with? Your index finger? It doesn't work like that. You need your thumbs.
All right. Well, I'll tell you one thing about opposable thumbs. I think they're going to go the way of these other vestigial organs, such as the appendix, wisdom teeth, male nipples, the coccyx. We use those anymore? No, I'm thinking like the way that evolution is ramping up and the way that AI is taking over, we probably won't even need thumbs in the next like 15, 20 years.
Stop it. Everything on this list, that on this podcast list, is pretty much impossible to do without thumbs, with the exception of maybe soccer and Jesus. And even Jesus had two of the damn things.
He did. Yes, he did. But I will tell you this. I don't remember any movies about opposable thumbs except for maybe Every Which Way You Can, where there's an orangutan or some kind of animal. But guess what? Lots of movies about bachelor parties. We've got Bachelor Party, starring Tom Hanks and a stellar cast where we had other superstars like Adrian Zmed and Tawny Katane, the Hangover movies, Sideways, that literally wiped out the Merlot business after the movie came out. We had even Jack Lemmon got into it with How to Murder Your Wife. He married the chick that came out of his cake at his bachelor party and decided, I think I might want to murder her after about a week of living with her. So lots of movies. Movies about opposable thumbs? Not so much. 2 thumbs down for opposable thumbs.
You wouldn't be able to do that without your thumbs. When people tell me they got divorced, the first thing I ask is, how was the bachelor party? Invariably, the answer comes back, it was great. Why do you ask? And I go, because I'm doing a study. I think these two things are linked.
I don't know, Dave. A lot of good stuff here for bachelor parties. I don't know what your memories are of before you were married, but bachelor parties got to be right up there. I don't know how many times you're thinking about whatever weird stuff you're doing with your thumbs there, but bachelor parties for the win.
All right. So the decision comes down to, is the thumb
The opposable thumb.
our thumbs, are they even the most important appendage? And to me, it clearly is. my penis. But others, however, who have been, shall we say, exposed, might say I'm overrating. Okay, so that brings us to bachelor parties. Are they even the best party? Are they better than birthday parties?
Yes.
Yes. The only thing worse than throwing a birthday party for your kid is going to someone else's kid's birthday party. Are they better than a Christmas party? Yes. Why do you even need a Christmas party? Isn't Christmas enough? Are they better than graduation parties? Yes, because those cost me money and they rarely have strippers. But are they better than New Year's Eve parties? Yes, because I'm too old. I haven't made it to midnight on New Year since Dick Clark was having his annual stroke on live TV. That was worth staying up for. But he has since croaked, and bachelor parties are by far and away the best parties. Bachelor parties win.
Woo!
All right.
There
It
you
should
have
say
it.
the list should actually read bachelor parties / vomit if we're gonna be
All right,
Okay,
Isabella, what do we have next?
round two, the judge is Paul, and we have Mike arguing first kisses versus Dave arguing eggs.
Mike, you're leading off.
All right, let me paint a little picture for you. It's 1985. I'm getting driven to Stratford Square Mall with my new girlfriend, Allison. We're pulling up, we walk in, I buy a giant Coke. My palms are sweating, I'm so nervous. I walk in, knock over the Coke. My palms are sweating, my mouth is dry. What do? I think I need to lick my palms to get enough moisture in my mouth so I could just get myself ready for that first kiss. But I'm inspired on the screen as Michael J. Fox in Teen Wolf. Yes, maybe the most classic movie of 1985. Just so inspiring and gave me the courage to plant that first kiss on Allison. And it was magic. Magic, I say. And I remember every detail of that day, more than I remember just about everything else that I've done in my entire life. So I'm telling you, first kisses, it's a memorable experience that you're never going to forget. And I may have even gotten a little tongue.
All right. In one of my favorite movies, Rocky runs through the streets of Philly. Da-da-da, da-da-da, gonna fly now. But before he flew, what did he do? He swallowed 5 eggs. Why? Eggs, called the world's most perfect food, are a rare complete protein with 9 amino acids and not one of which is LSD. They have omega fats, which shouldn't be confused with fat omegas, the sorority and Revenge of the Nerds. They have vitamins A, E, D, and K, all extremely important in Scrabble, as well as B2, B5, B7, B9, and B12, which significantly help your chances at bingo. On top of all of that, they have iron, selenium, phosphorus, zinc, choline, absolutely essential for brain health. So if Mike ate more eggs, he would not possibly think first kisses are more dominant.
So let me ask you this question. Have you ever been vomiting and have had diarrhea at the same time? It's a horrible thing to experience. And you know how you get that? From eggs, from getting salmonella poisoning. Because if you ever try to first kiss an egg, you're about 97% chance that you're going to get salmonella. And Rocky, you know he had salmonella because he was a filthy mess. So unless you're some out of date, guy with no training regimen at all, living in this filth in Philly, he would be eating something else.
All right, I don't know where you're getting this salmonella.
Lentils have more protein than eggs.
First of all, you're wrong. With salmonella. Second of all, according to the USDA, eggs are a nutritional powerhouse. That's a quote. The WHO says egg protein is protein's gold standard. Then again, the WHO also said, hope I die before I get old. Anyway, 2 recent studies showed eggs actually decrease cholesterol and have 0 link to heart disease. So have as many eggs as you want. And good luck trying that with your one and only first kiss.
Well, I could get lots of other kisses, but what I could get my protein in, tofu, 22 grams, Greek yogurt, 20 grams of protein, chickpeas, edamame, peanut butter, cottage cheese. all have more protein than an egg. So don't tell me how great egg protein is. And you know what you could get from first kisses? They elicit this wonderful neurotransmitters and hormones, things like dopamine and serotonin and oxytocin, which is called the love hormone. You're not getting any love hormones from eggs.
All right, this is what you get with eggs. Without eggs, you have no cakes, no quiches, no mayonnaise, no hollandaise, no souffle, no custard, no pastries, no fresh pasta, no Western omelet, no veggie omelet, no French omelet, no American omelet, no Greek omelet, no Spanish omelet, no mushroom omelet, no cheese omelet, no ham and cheese omelet, no Sam I am green eggs and ham, and no meatballs, including the Bill Murray movie Meatballs would not exist without eggs.
You know what you mentioned in there? All the stuff that comes with eggs. Did you ever have an egg by yourself or by itself, just like Rocky did? No, because it's disgusting. You need to add all that stuff in. You need bacon, you need toast, you need pancakes, you need waffles, you need all the mix-ins. Otherwise, what is it? You're just gulping down gross eggs dripping all over your chin like Rocky.
The
Disgusting.
importance of eggs goes even beyond health and food. In ancient Greece, eggs were the symbol of the creation of all life. Christianity, eggs symbolize the resurrection. And eggs have given us the greatest philosophical question of all time. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? I egged the chicken, then I ate the egg. That's from the song Eggman by the Beastie Boys, who, by the way, never wrote a song about first kisses.
You want to hear songs about first kisses? How about Kiss by Prince? Or Shut Up and Kiss Me, or the Shoop Shoop song. It's in his Kiss. Steal My Kisses, Kiss Me Deadly. How about First Kiss by Kid Rock? You want to talk about songs about things? Not a lot of songs about eggs. Also in art. You want to talk about art? We got The Kiss by Auguste Rodin. We've got The Kiss by Gustav Klimt, Picasso, Toulouse-Lautrec. Uh, you know what I heard about eggs in art? Nothing, except for maybe a risky business when Guido the Killer Pimp stole Joel's mom's egg and was running around town with it the whole movie.
Which we wouldn't have if it weren't for an egg. But you talk about how eggs are great memories. They're not a great one for the kids who got their first kiss from creepy Uncle Louie. I don't think these kids are reminiscing about that first kiss, or maybe they are in therapy. But what are we even talking about here? Thoughts of kids kissing. Why don't you just advocate for child porn, you sick freak?
Okay, the judge is going to end this before it goes off the rails. Okay. First of all, before I get to my decision, okay, I'm a big fan of the rock band The Who. I've never heard anyone refer to them as the WHO, but thank you for doing that. And Mike, my hunch on you is that you had your first kiss at your bachelor party. Anyways, I think things are best judged on their worst days. Is that fair? Eggs on their worst day. What is worse than the smell of bad eggs? I'd rather spend a sweltering afternoon reading poetry in a porta potty than smell bad eggs. All right. You ever get your house eggs or your car eggs? Have fun getting that off. Now, first kisses on their worst day. Is anything worse than that? Realizing when you move in for that kiss that her eyes are open and yours are too? You ever been in that situation? Or what about when you move in a kiss and realize she has a bad case of the Zackleys? Which, if you're not familiar with that, is when your breath smells exactly like your rear end. Or what about when you go to kiss and realize that the girl is actually a guy? And that's not an anti-gendered remark. It's an anti-surprise remark. Okay, so to prevent horrible first kiss surprises, eggs is going on the list.
Oh my
That's
God.
the decision.
All right. All right. What does that bring us to, Isabella?
For round three, the judge is Mike, and Dave is arguing Amazon versus Paul arguing Caitlin Clark.
All right. I love Amazon. It's eliminated one of my least favorite activities, going out to do Christmas shopping. The coughing, sneezing, yelling, crying, and the throngs of people who got so upset because, well, that coughing, sneezing, and yelling was coming from me. Now, hundreds of millions of those people just go to Amazon for Christmas, as well as birthdays, graduations, that piece of crap holiday Valentine's Day, or even just to buy some new underwear because your damn wife threw out your favorite pairs due to claims of too many holes and discoloration. Which reminds me, my anniversary is tomorrow. So guess what I'm doing tonight? Yep, don't worry, honey. Thanks to Amazon, #1 in the world in delivery speed and inventory management, our managed marriage will not get any worse than it already is. Yes, it's prime time. The online shopping version of Deion Sanders, who, by the way, is one of about 1,000 athletes more deserving of being in the top 25 than Caitlin Clark.
I'm not going to out yell you here because I don't have to. Okay. Now, unlike Tiger Woods and Steph Curry and Bird and Magic and Jordan, people who came along and saved their sport when it was kind of listing, Caitlin is doing something even better than them because she's saving a sport that most of us swore on our mother's graves we would never watch in our life. Okay, my dad watches the WNBA now, and he hates hoop more than he hates women. I watch the WNBA at his house, and I hate women's hoop more than I hate my dad. Okay, that's how powerful this woman is. Probably the most transformative person right now in the world. Okay, their viewership's gone up 170% since she got in the league.
All right. How about how amazing Amazon is? When people hear Amazon, they don't even think of the largest rainforest in the world or the longest river. 80% of people think of the company. The only thing that could possibly surpass how amazing that is if it happened to a company called Earth.
Dave,
Yes.
when Caitlin joined the Indiana Fever, their value was 100 million. It is now 400 million in one calendar year. The owner of that team should be making sure that she is carried to the stadium in a rickshaw on a daily basis.
Here's some indisputable facts about your Caitlin Clark. She is not the best female athlete of all time. She's not the best female basketball player of all time. She's not even the best current WNBA player. That's Asia Wilson, current and 3-time MVP. Caitlin Clark has not won an MVP, a championship in pro or college. She has potential, but potential is a euphemism for you haven't done shit yet. And she could be on her way to becoming the women's hoops version of Freddie Adu.
Okay, I'm not talking about her basketball skill. We're talking about her drawing eyeballs to the league. But it's funny you mentioned Amazon, okay? And I like Amazon, okay? But the first thing I think of when I think of Amazon is the people in the warehouse who don't get breaks and have to poop in a plastic bag before they deliver my goods. That's the first thing I think of.
You should think of #1 in cloud computing, the #1 most valuable brand, slightly ahead of the Domination rankings, trademark pending. #1 in AI integration. And in this day and age, how can you be against integration?
Dave, Caitlin didn't run to Amazon. They came to her in the form of a $2.2 billion deal so that league could be on their channel, which, by the way, nobody watches. You ever watch Amazon Prime? Last time I put it on my TV, a tumbleweed blew across the screen. There's nothing on there except now we have that, the WNBA.
This might be the main reason to go with Amazon. As of now, there are only two places in the world where you can find the brilliantly written Things That Might Annoy Joke Book series by Paul Nardizzi and yours truly. The back of my garage and Amazon.com.
I think I'm going to lose 2 arguments today.
All right. One other thing. Let me put this in there. People don't even know how to spell Caitlin Clark. I have evidence in the form of an email that one of her biggest fans, the Paul Nardizzi, spelled her first name with a K. But don't worry, Paul. I bet people do the same thing with Shamika Holdsclaw, who actually won championships in college, unlike Clark, won the 1999 WNBA Rookie of the Year, just like Clark did, and then accomplished diddly squat after that, which is what Clark has done so far.
Dave, it won't be long before we're taking our kids or our grandkids on a trip to the WNBA Hall of Fame. And there's going to be an exhibit there in a dank room in the bowels of that building. And your kid's going to say, what's this? And you're going to say, oh, this exhibit is for the old NBA. It's the league the WNBA destroyed.
Oh, my God.
It's a nostalgic trip to the league of yesteryear that once existed in 3 BC. What's BC, Dad? Before Caitlin.
I'm happy you're spelling it correctly now, though.
Well, you found the C.
You can describe her game right now in one word: non-existent. She's injured. her third injury in less than 2 years. So maybe instead of her becoming the women's hoops version of Freddie Adu, she'll become the women's hoops version of Sam Bowie.
Yeah, she just injured her groin and she ordered a little balm to put on it from Amazon. And when it arrived, there was human shit on the outside of it from one of those warehouse workers that doesn't get a break.
Oh my God.
All right, all right. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. I love Amazon. I mean, I've ordered stuff on Amazon or just thought about ordering something. All of a sudden, my doorbell rings. I'm like, how did you even know I wanted that thing? That's how good Amazon is at delivering packages. And but I don't know. They could do everything, right? They even are Whole Foods is a subsidiary of Amazon. I mean, they have everything going on. However, can they hit a three-pointer from 37 feet out? Can they change an entire league? I mean, I agree. She's not the best player in the league right now. She's not going to be the MVP this year, but she's going to be number two, second year in the league. She's also the most exciting thing to watch in sports right now over the summer. And she's captivating the world. And I am watching clips on the WNBA, which I can't believe I do. Most of them are her getting punched or kicked or thrown to the ground. And that's fun to watch. So I have to go with Caitlin Clark.
Oh my
She is
God.
dominating the sports scene right now. Sorry, Dave.
That is sad.
Starting a new winning streak.
I had more punches to throw. That's all right. All right. Isabella, we are going to now reveal the top 25 according to the voters. So this is your time to shine, Isabella. Here we go.
All right. So at 25, we have Ted Williams.
So Ted Williams, I argued passionately for his inclusion on this list. The man's the best at three things. No one's ever done that. In a no time flat, he's off the list. So you'll be hearing from my attorneys.
All right. 24, we have fishing. 23, Premier League.
So both of those are out. Fishing and Premier League. Okay.
22, Spotify. 21, Motown. 20, The Simpsons. They unfortunately dropped from 16, but hey, don't have a cow, man. 19, we have Rome. 18, Leg Day.
So leg day. I've been doing leg day every day since I heard the last episode where that got on. That's why I'm sitting down right now and I can't move and I can't get up. But at least I'm not thinking about how much my back hurts every day. So that's good.
17, we have New York City. 16, Elvis.
You know, people think it's sad that he died on the toilet, but I'm thinking, what better way to die than knowing before you go, someone's got to wipe your ass. I think that's not bad.
It's like he works at Amazon.
Yeah.
15, we have Star Wars. 14, Instagram. And you guys might not know this, but Dave has been banned from Instagram. Not by Instagram, the app, but by me and all of the other interns running the social media. 13, childbirth. 12, making people laugh. 11, pasta. 10, TV.
A true story. I once had a TV in my bathroom, but not just the TV. I ran cable there too. And then something horrible happened. I got married.
All right. 9, we have sex. 8, indoor plumbing. 7, Jesus.
Now Jesus, a lot of people, we get a lot of comments on Jesus. He goes up and he goes down. He's down a little bit right now, but that's because it's just like boring, ordinary time in the church calendar. So we got to wait till something really pops up. One of those big, seasons that comes up like college football. That's when Jesus is going to roar back up to the top of the list. When people start going down in the SEC, oh man, especially they're going to be, come on, Jesus, help me out. Or especially when my daughter gets to Notre Dame, they got a big giant touchdown, Jesus, and the prayers are flowing then. So I see Jesus making a rise in the next couple months here.
6, we have pizza. 5, deodorant. 4, air conditioning. 3, a good bowel movement. 2, sleep.
I want my wife to listen to this podcast, but I fear her coming on and seeing that we men have continued to put sleep higher than sex, and she's going to be insulted.
And finally, number one, we have
Number one.
summertime.
Hey! And now Isabella will wrap up the show singing In the Summertime by Mungo Jerry. Hit it is.
See, I don't know about that one.
All right, I'll get you going. In the summertime when the weather is high, you can stretch right up and touch the sky. All right, apparently Isabella needs to bone up on her Mungo Jerry, but that's all we got. And I don't think we sucked.
Yay!
There we go. Show
Good
number
work.
10 in the books. Very nice, guys. All right.